All right, I'm doing it already. Briggs and Stratton carburetor cleaning. Coming right up. Hey guys, welcome back to Steve's Small Engine Saloon again. Ever since I did that video on how to clean a Honda style carburetor, I've got tons and tons of comments from guys saying, well, I don't have a Honda style carburetor. I have a Briggs and Stratton carburetor on my lawnmower. Can you show us how to clean one of those? Absolutely I can. If you guys saw that video, I got a little link up there in the top right corner for you, how to clean a Honda style carburetor. You guys saw that. Compared this one to that one, this is a piece of cake to clean. Way less parts that you have to worry about. This is probably the simplest carburetor there is out there to clean. I'll take you through it anyway, show you a couple tips and tricks. I got a Red Horse beer to do this job today. Woo! That is strong beer. 8% alcohol. I think my executive producer, April, might be trying to get me drunk. Here's what I do when I clean one of these carburetors. First thing I do is clean the outside of that carburetor. Sometimes they're just covered in oil, grease, grass, mud, whatever. You're trying to clean the inside of this carburetor. You don't want your fingers getting all dirty on this and transferring that to the inside of the carburetor once we get it opened. So clean the outside of your carburetor. What I do is I just put my thumb over one side and over the other, and my fingers over the other side like that, so nothing can get inside of that. Carburetor cleaner spray, brake cleaner, something like that. I spray the whole outside, and then air compressor, blast it all off as good as you can so it's as clean on the outside as you can get. Next thing I check is that butterfly, the throttle shaft and the butterfly move absolutely freely with no resistance. Easy way to clean that. Little bit of carb spray down here on the bottom, right there. Up in the top, right there. Even right where the throttle shaft comes down into the body of the carburetor on the top here, right there. You can spray some in there and then just start working it back and forth. Work it as good as you can until it's absolutely free. Keep spraying it, whatever you got to do until it's free. No resistance at all, just like that. Now we can open this thing up. 1/2-inch wrench or a 13mm wrench. A lot of people don't realize that's not just a bolt. I'll show you when we get this off. It's actually the main jet that goes into your carburetor. It takes the fuel from the bottom of the bowl and actually meters it into your engine itself. All the fuel goes through this right here. That's actually your main jet. 9 times out of 10, that's the only problem on these things, is because that little hole right there is plugged and no fuel can get from your carburetor up into your engine. We're going to just disassemble this thing right down. Take that bowl off. Again, you take that bowl off. This one's obviously nice and clean, but sometimes, a lot of times, there's water sitting in there. There's a little rust in there. There can be just all kinds of goo and stuff in there. Little carburetor adjusting screwdriver, anything you can get in there, scrape that all out. Again, carburetor spray, spray it all out, clean that bowl out as good as you can. This is your float right here. Easy to take that off. There's a little pin here. You pull that pin out. And again, sometimes your carburetor could be really gooey and gross. It might not, that pin might be glued in there, but grab it with pliers, whatever you got to do, and get that pin out. Pull the float off, and your needle is just going to be loose on there and come off too. Put that aside. Now, that is all there is to really take off of this carburetor. Far different than the Honda style carburetors that I showed you on that last video. So let's do this little main jet first. This is the most important part by far of this carburetor. Easy to do. You literally, a little wire like this down there, a twist tie wire. Everybody knows what twist ties are. They got the little plastic coating on the outside or paper coating on the outside. Peel a little off the end. That fits in there really good. Just get that in there and make sure that's clear. You might have to poke it pretty hard, get that out. Now, if you look sideways at that thing like that, there's a hole that goes straight through the side. Make sure that's clear also. Spray it with some carb cleaner like this and put that red nozzle, your carb spray or brake cleaner, whatever you're using, like that, and give it a shot, and you'll see that it's going to squirt out both sides, just like that. Now that should be fine. Main jet. Now we take the carburetor body itself. There's only a few things you got to worry about here. Obviously, let's start with this. This is where your fuel line just connected on. Make sure that's clear. Squirt a little carb spray through there. Boom. That should have the carb spray go straight through and come out where the needle was in there. Then there's these two little holes right here. If you see this, you got one big hole like this. Spray some carb cleaner through there. Make sure that's clear and it's coming out the bottom side. And on the left-hand side, right here, there's a little brass insert in this carburetor. It's got a tiny little hole in there. That hole is extremely tiny. You're not going to get a twist tie wire through that. And if you don't have the proper wire or small enough wire to actually poke that out, wire brush. If you have a wire brush, take a pair of side cutters and just cut one of those wires off your wire brush, grab it with some pliers and work that through. Now you take your carburetor spray again with that little red tube on there, put it right in there and blast something through there, and if you see that coming through like that, you know it's clear. If you already got a wire through there, it will be clear. Next thing is the main nozzle. In the Honda carburetor style, what I was showing you, that actually comes out. On these carburetors, it doesn't even come out. It's just it's a hole right here. It's actually a brass tube that goes in there, but it's not removable. Goes right through up to into the venturi right there. That's where all your fuel shoots up into there and gets sucked into your engine to make your engine run. Again, carb spray, put it on the end and shoot it through there and make sure that it is shooting through. I actually had a carburetor last week where that was plugged. It's kind of rare that that main nozzle is plugged on these. I couldn't get carb spray through there. Again, wire something through there. You know what? I love these things right here. They're welding tip cleaners. I got a link on my description for these. If you go to, the link on my description that says tools for sale. Take you back to that. These are awesome, all different sizes. There's going to be one size in there that you can run that through and make sure that's clear. Oh, I did want to point this out too. That little brass insert that I was showing you there, some carburetors, this one has it in it, but some carburetors, you guys are going to find that the hole right here and then the left one has this brass insert. Some of them don't have that brass insert. It's just a wide open hole, the exact same on both sides without that brass insert in there. If you don't have that brass insert in there with a tiny hole in there, that's great. That's even easier to clean yet. You just spray through there with the red nozzle on your can of spray. Now, right where that needle came out, where it goes down to the seat, there's a rubber seat in the bottom of that hole right there where your needle goes down. Again, sometimes I've taken carburetors off. It's actually not that uncommon where I take the needle and I gotta pull the needle out because it's glued in there. so bad. The needle needs to move freely in and out of that hole. Q-tips work freaking awesome on that. You just take your carb spray and wet the end of that Q-tip, fits in there perfectly, and you just rub it in there, twist it around, clean the inside of that hole, and then you might, and also your needle, if you're using the same needle, take your needle like that, just in your fingers, spray some carb cleaner on that, and just roll it in your fingers, and it's going to get clean. And then you're going to find that that needle slides in and out of that hole nice and free, no resistance. If you have this on your lawnmower and you put gas in it, and after a few seconds fuel starts just pouring out, that's your needle in seat is not sealing properly. If it's leaking through, that needle is not sealing onto that rubber seat. So here's how we change that. You get a needle in seat kit. It comes in a kit. The part number for that kit is 398188. We got to get the old seat out of there. Sometimes, a lot of times actually, you can take your air gun and put it against right where your fuel line from your fuel tank connects in, right there. You can put that air gun against there and shoot some air in there, and it'll blow the seat out. Now obviously, if you do that, put a rag over top of it or your hand over top of it and do that. Because, I mean, obviously don't be looking down that. It's like looking down a gun barrel and you shoot it, it's going to hit you right in the eye. Sometimes it won't come out. I'm going to say 50-50 chance it's going to blow out on its own, or it's going to be stuck in there so bad your air compressor isn't even going to blow it out because a little bit's coming through that hole still. If that's the case, little carb adjusting screwdriver, and just dig in there like that and loosen that rubber seat up, and then give it another shot with your air compressor. Again, hand or rag over it so it's not going to hit you in the face. Blast it out, and that rubber seat is all of a sudden going to go pop and it's going to come out. Now here's how we put a new one in. If you see this, here's a new seat. One side's got a groove on it. You see that groove, that little ring around there like that? You flip it over, and there's no ring on that side. The groove or that little ring goes in first. So when it's actually installed, you look down there with a little flashlight, you cannot see that groove. Groove goes down. Great little tool for installing another seat is a chainsaw file. Obviously you use the flat end of the chainsaw, not the pointy end. You just put it on top of there like that and go like that. Shove it in there, bottom it out, push that in there nice and gentle with that chainsaw file, and that absolutely works great. It really does. That's how you put that seat in there. Take your new needle and put it on your float. Pop that float in there, pin back in. Put that clean bowl back on now. Put your main jet back on that holds your bowl on. 1/2 inch 13 mil wrench, tighten that back up. And that's good to go. That's as much as we can do on that one. Well, I hope that helped some of you guys out there again. Hopefully I saved you some money. You didn't have to take it into the shop and get them to do it. That's great. That's what I'm here for. Share that video with some of your friends if you want. Subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. Give me that thumbs up button for sure, guys. Like that. And what can I say till next time? Red Horse beer. Check that out. It's actually pretty good, but it's strong. Steve out.